Good morning. So I'm going to talk about SoapBox Labs, our children's speech recognition. But first, I just want to talk briefly about the voice technology industry, the smart speakers that are exploding in growth and adoption. So smart speakers, as you know, will be your Amazon Alexa, your Google Home, your HomePod. 60 million Americans, adults, now own at least one smart speaker. That's 23% of US adults, and it's grown 22% since January this year. So if you think about it, that's a ridiculous growth for a product that's actually only been on the market for 3 years. So I've been in this area of speech recognition for 20 years. Research has been ongoing in speech recognition since the 70s. We're talking about 50 years growth here. It's not an overnight success. It's definitely a coming of age of a technology. And the reason for this, and the reason why it's actually becoming more and more prevalent as a technology, is that the accuracy is getting there, right? It used to be a really frustrating experience. It's now becoming an awful lot more accurate. It's becoming more of a utility. You can now set your timers, you can dictate, you can do shopping lists, you can do your music, you can text while driving, right? So they're assistants that really are working for you, right? But it's really important to realize that in voice technology, smart assistants, voice assistants, are kind of like the tip of the iceberg. That's not it, right? There's not one company that's licked it, won the game, nothing like that, right? What we're seeing is voice technology is set to become the dominant interface, right? It's already in the home, office, business, school, car, your appliances, right? This is already happening, and particularly in the US. It's a little slower on this side of the ocean, but it's happening. And the reason is, right, voice technology is the natural interface for humans, right? That's how we all interact with each other. And over the years, what we've had to do in order to interact with technology, we've had to hack it, right? We've had to build keyboards and mouse and clicks and really complicated game controllers. And now we got more sophisticated with our swipe and our tap and our clicks. But they're not natural. We've had to invent them, build them, and learn how to use them, right? So if the natural interface is voice, it makes sense, right, that voice, now that it's gaining an accuracy, now that we're hitting the 95%, now that we're almost getting there, same as humans, it will start to replace as the natural interface. So you're seeing something a lot bigger, a lot more beyond the smart assistants that's going to start happening. So children under 12 are like 20% of the population, and yet products on the market are ridiculously underserved in comparison for children, right? The products aren't there. They've been built for adults, they've been modeled on adult voices, and they're modeling adult behaviors. So the genesis for SoapBox Labs was, I was watching my young daughter interact with technology, and what really struck me, this is back in 2013, right? What struck me, I'd spent 20 years working in this area, well, have done now, and what struck me about those technologies was that age group is the age group that could really benefit from a natural voice interface, right? They're pre-literate. They can't read instructions and buttons. They can't navigate complicated menu systems. They for the most part, don't have the dexterity of the young kids anyway, much like me, on the game controllers. So it makes sense for them more than any other cohort that voice technology becomes easy, right? And then you got to accept the fact that once you put a speaker in the home, right, you don't have it behind a password, right? It's not gated. The child sees you using it, they're going to have a go too. You put it in your car, they're going to have a go too. That's what happens. And when the accuracy suffers, particularly for the young kids, that reflects on your brand. That reflects on the adult's perception, the child's frustration, but the adult's perception as well, right? So basically, off-the-shelf speech recognition, while it can work for an older child that has very articulate, clear speech and behaves in speech behaviors more like an adult, it deteriorates very dramatically for children and younger children. So why is speech recognition difficult for children? So their vocal tracts are thinner, they're shorter, so they're physically different to adults. Their speech actually resides in a different part of the spectrum than adults. Their behaviors are vastly different from adults, and you can't underestimate this, right? They elongate words, they over-enunciate, they stutter, they pause, they pause mid-sentence, mid-word, mid-thought, and it really messes with systems that have been built for adults. So you're going to start seeing more and more as a child gets younger, and right down from about age 12, right down to age 4, the accuracy suffering for children. So what SoapBox Labs, what we've done is, we've built technology that is accurate, it's age appropriate, and it's safe. So, as I said, I started this company watching my daughter interact with voice technology and realizing that it was her age group that could really do with this. So one of the first things I realized, and I'd spent a very long time working in the area of speech recognition at this point, and seeing that the advent of deep learning and natural language processing was giving us orders of magnitude improvements, that the first problem to deal with was data. So to use deep learning, you need large volumes of data, good quality. Now, it can't be lab-like environment. You can't control the child. Everything you do when you collect data is reflected then in the system that you build. You can't expect to build with clean lab-like data and then expect it to work in the real world. It won't. It will fall apart, and that's what we're seeing repeatedly. So we've collected data, real-world data, uncontrolled from kids, across 170 countries, thousands of hours. And we've leveraged deep learning. We've leveraged state-of-the-art technology. We're using our own proprietary data, our own proprietary algorithms. We have 85 years of speech recognition experience in the company. And in order to, what we do is we help our clients to develop age-appropriate experiences for kids, right? So not just that you recognize a child and you don't respond with inappropriate material or access to purchasing. What you also have to be careful of doing as well is that you respond in an age-appropriate way and have that really good experience for the child, because all children are different in different age groups. We also have safety and privacy at the core of our company. In 2013, we started this, we were parents. We understood the sensitivity around data. I've been working in this area for a long time. So we've been US COPPA compliant since our inception, GDPR obviously this year. We never sell the data outside the company. The data is purely used to improve the speech recognition system. And that's a big differentiator, and that has to be core, and has to be core to any company that's going to play in the space of children's speech recognition. So what we do is we license our technology to third parties. They integrate it into their products and service for children, and they bring it to market across a wide number of application areas. We deliver our technology via an API. So it's a cloud-based API. It's global. It's scalable in users and geographies. We have it, again, it's a real-world performance. It responds in real time to children's voices that are sent and streamed to the cloud. We've also taken our deep learning and made it available offline as well. So it can be offline on a tablet or a smartphone, but also embedded in a chip for a variety of reasons, obviously. And we've also scaled in multiple languages. So we've Mandarin, Spanish, and Portuguese, and multiple other languages ongoing at the moment. So beyond IoT, right? So, you know, smart homes, smart assistants, we can augment the performance for that for children, get them working for children. But with children, there are other application areas. If you have smart toys, robotics, virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and gaming, all these strive to create an immersive experience for a child. That immersive experience is kind of shattered a little when they got to use these handheld controllers with the funny buttons, and it's shattered when it's had to, you take your hand off the AR device, which can be an iPhone or a tablet, and they have to start tapping. It's not an immersive experience. Equally in gaming, voice, the natural interface, is up and coming in all these areas, and we have to be able to do it for children too. The accuracy has to be there because it can't be a frustrating experience. That shatters the illusion, the immersion in all these scenarios as well. My son got a smart toy from his grandfather last week, and I suppose his exposure to speech recognition and our testing, he was genuinely upset when the smart toy that was speaking to him couldn't listen back. It couldn't understand them. It was saying things, he'd say something back, and he'd press the button. He goes, but when you press the button, it's supposed to listen. And he couldn't get why it wasn't. So what's happening is, and we're going to see this more and more as we go forward, is the expectation for voice enablement is there. It's voice first, and that expectation is growing, and not having that in a product is problematic. So there's a higher purpose to speech recognition as well, right? Particularly for children. So reading is a foundational skill. If a child's proficiency lacks in reading by age 8, it's a key indicator of their future success, right? So that's when they stop learning to read and they start reading to learn. And a child who's falling behind their peers at age 8 has a very difficult time catching up ever to their peers. And many studies have shown this. So it's a key age to start teaching reading. Yet 60% of kids in the US are not reading at a proficient level. That's echoed globally in the developed world, and there's 250 million children in the developing world that haven't even reached basic literacy. So the way to improve literacy is one-to-one, where an adult, a helpful adult, sits with a child and listens as they read aloud, right? They correct, they prompt, they encourage, and they're all the time assessing. And that's how you augment literacy, and that's the real effective way of doing it. But it's not possible just to drop in more teachers, more assistants. Very few people can afford private tutors or have that extra. So a child struggling to catch up with his peers in a developed country, a child that's got little or no access to education in a developing country. Speech recognition is a cost-effective and scalable way to address this problem and augment literacy. It's a lofty goal, but it's honestly one thing that we really believe. It's actually got a massive commercial benefit to a company like us, because assessment in the US is a multi-billion-dollar industry, but it also has a huge social impact to deliver this. So it needs high accuracy. You cannot do this with 60% accuracy. You just can't do it. Off-the-shelf speech recognition doesn't work for education. It needs to be modified for this particular use case. So at SoapBox Labs, we've delivered that high accuracy, and we're integrating into literacy, early literacy, and more advanced literacy as well. So the idea is that you can actually have AI for good. You can have tech for good, where it's delivering commercial benefit to our company and our investors, but equally having a social impact. Language learning, again, a massive industry in Asia. English language learning, other language learning across the globe, whether it's an immigrant population or a child wants to learn English for any reason. And equally, accessibility. Our voice technology can also enable accessibility. Open the book, turn a page, turn on the lights for children with disability. And again, those children with disability don't have a solution right now. The adult systems don't work for them. So what's interesting is our code base, the same code base I was talking about for the toys and the robots, equally works here, just delivered in a different way for education. So what I'd like to do is just show you very briefly a video that demonstrates the application areas for SoapBox Labs, and then I can take some questions if you'd like.
SoapBox Labs develops speech recognition technology for young children that is accurate, age-appropriate, and safe. Our plug-and-play engine enables children from the age of 3 to interact with your product using their voice. It's device agnostic.
Up, right, down.
And can be used for a wide variety of applications.
Old woman and a little old man.
In an educational setting, it can be used to assess pronunciation of words and sentences, as well as measure reading fluency and comprehension.
Skates. Yay!
It supports personalized progress and enables automated, scalable learning and assessment. Our platform supports multiple
No
languages.
olvides el paraguas.
It's designed to work in real-world environments.
What's for supper? Pay TV. Play Robin Hood the movie.
Its ability to discern between adult and child voices ensures appropriate functionality in IoT and home automation technologies.
Open book. Once upon a time, there were 4 little...
Our technology can voice-enable products, making them accessible for all children.
What's your favorite color?
Red.
Powering
Cool.
engagement and conversation makes it perfect for use in smart toys and robots. Using state-of-the-art deep learning, our technology is the most accurate children's speech recognition solution on the market. We offer both real-time, online, and offline solutions. SoapBox Labs takes a privacy-first approach, delivering full GDPR and COPPA compliance with age-appropriate and safe experiences. Contact SoapBox Labs today. Let's get children talking.
So thank you for listening. I'll take any questions if you have them.
Great, fantastic, Patricia. Yeah, any questions for SoapBox Labs while we have her on stage? I have a question. You built your company in Ireland.
Yes.
How hard is it to find talent? Do you have them all come to Ireland? Do you work with them overseas? How does it work?
Well, majority of our talent's in Ireland. We have 1 or 2 in the US, but majority is in Ireland. Actually, to be honest, I think attracting talent for us has been in Ireland. We have a little bit of an advantage over the UK right now because there's a little bit of uncertainty. We've got a bit of advantage over the US, a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And honestly, Ireland's an English-speaking country, and it's it is the only English-speaking country in the EU, except for Britain. So that actually has helped us in our hiring.
Interesting.
But it's a really hard area to hire in.
Yeah.
FYI, we're hiring. So take a look at our website if anybody's actually interested. But yes,
Great.
in this business, you're always hiring, right?
Exactly. Are there any questions in the audience?